wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be.
Hello and welcome listeners to another episode of Tactical Awareness. It's season 2, episode 13. We're back with more colder than Carbonite prep. My name is Ash, and I'm joined by my fellow hosts Owen and Dan for more discussion of Infinity's game N4 and our prep for the national tournament that we have every year. It's our satellite event called Colder Than Carbonite in Edmonton, Alberta. I'll be flying out west to join Owen and Dan on a long drive up north, where we will face off against up to 50 other players to try and take home a invite to Interplanetario, the World Championships of Infinity, and see how that goes. So we've been prepping, playing games. Let's catch up with Owen. Dan may be joining us and get this going. Lazy Dan days. There's no reason not to.
No reason not to.
Even though he's back in the country, just
nothing will change anyway.
That's true. We just go on without him. He showed us his army list, so we know what he's taking now anyway.
We should probably not tell everyone what he's taking, though.
No, that's true. We shouldn't, because it's going up immedially. Immediately. So yeah, we won't talk too much about.
Or just spoil his entire plan. Hey, everyone, don't worry. I'll also post copies of it.
That's right. Yeah, here we go. Here's his army code. Also,
you can always just reference it if you need to. Hollow Echo. Who cares?
Yeah. Well, hey everybody, welcome to the Tactical Awareness. We are back with part 2 of our Colder Than Carbonite prep. And in a crazy twist of fate, especially if you're a patron and you've already watched some of them, Owen and I got to actually play some games together to get ready for Carbonite. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit about our experience with the mission so far, preparing for the satellite tournament, take some questions from the mailbag, and generally just catch up on what's been going on, because we are like T-minus 10 days. 10 days. 10 days from Colder Than Carbonite.
Next weekend. Yeah.
I'm so pumped. I'm excited. I'm very excited.
I sure am going to have to sign up soon.
You should. There's only 23 people signed up. So there's lots of room right now. So as you get ready to pay for your ticket, you should be fine. Although there could be like mystery people that aren't, like, no one's confirmed. Everyone's just subscribed. So I don't know if they've actually gone through and like looked at who's paid. I got my PayPal receipt though, so I know I have.
Hey, I'm bringing a table, so it'll be fine.
You're bringing a table that they don't know about, which is very funny. So
all that matters is if you bring a table. If you show up with a table, you get to play. That's how it works.
That's right. I mean, that's fair. They'll make a spot for you because you brought your own spot.
Exactly.
Yeah. I see that. I see your logic. I completely understand the logic. It's fine. So that necessitates a 2,000 mile, about 2,000 miles, 3,000 kilometer trip for me. Although you made a 2,000 mile trip to come play some games with me, so that balances out. So before we get started on the mailbag, what'd you do for Infinity this week besides noodle endlessly on lists?
Endlessly. That's how I am.
I know you're in full. You are in full teching mode right now. You are doing all your tinkering.
I should send you the screen cap of the lists that I have. So there's like Carbonite day 1, Carbonite day 2, and then like 15 iterations of each of them.
That is exactly my save to the cloud Infinity Army file right now. There's like, I have to try to remember which one the most recent one is.
Oh, like mine. I straight up use version codes. So you get like really? 1.1, 1.2, and then if you change lieutenants, you switch to 2, and it's
mine have gotten shaken out though. It's funny because we definitely, I'm really glad we got to play those 5 games, because I think it really helped me get my head around the changes to the modifications to the scenarios, and 2, I don't think I would have run as competent a list for sure without having played those games back to back to back. And then I mean, my last week I'll talk about when it gets to me, but it was definitely worth doing it, and I just did it again on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. All right, what are we talking about first then?
Well, why don't you just talk about what
I've been doing?
Have you like nailed down faction? Have you played practice games? Like, what have you been up to?
I think I've nailed down faction. I think I'm gonna play Vanilla Pano.
I'm so excited about that.
And there's only the other faction that continues to like creep in is Ramah Task Force.
Which is so weird to me, because I thought you were going to do QK. The last time we talked, it was QK was on your brain. It's so weird that you'd flip to Ramah, because they're so not the way you play hack.
The challenge I had with QK is I cannot make a day 2 list that isn't bad. And the issue is they don't have anyone really to do Panic Room.
Is there no good headquarter unit?
There are no headquarters units.
No,
so you have to use characters. Now I think NCO also works, which opens up the door.
I don't think you have a chain of command though, do you? But like you throw like a wild bill.
No, your other backups are the Kawari.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the Kawari are. Yeah,
because they are both of those skills. And then you have what's his name? I'm looking at the wrong faction.
Scarface. Because you can send Scarface in. Scarface.
Sorry, my brain just melted. I was talking about Rama while looking at QK. QK has no headquarters, and you have to use characters, which means you get nobody. Yeah, you get Scarface,
Leela, Romani, Fiddler.
And all of these guys are like either a tag, and not a good one at that, or a bunch of 1 wounds. Maybe a 1 wound with a no wounding cap, but that's it. And they have to try and hold that room. And this is coming off of a exclusion zone. And like, you'd go, oh, well, that's okay because you have Yuan-Yuans and drop troops, right? But then Panic Room nerfs them because you have to take that Fizz -3 no matter what, which Yuan-Yuans, that means it's the same as their normal combat jump, but they don't get the auto pass and you can't use parachutist. And so it's like, oh, that's not great. So yeah, that's kind of my problem. I don't know what you can do. And if you had a single chain of command, like I'm surprised a Hafsa doesn't have chain of command. But yeah, day 1, QK, perfectly fine. Last launch, maybe your only shot is doing the Camille run.
Right.
Because you won't be able to do anything else. You don't have the like. You get a bit of mobility because you have a lot of links, which is nice. So
I don't know. I think the turrets kind of change up the conventional thinking on last launch a bit.
The turrets are
being able to throw the turrets in the room really changes up that conventional thinking about how that works.
Right. But the thing is like you need the tools to make benefit of those turrets. Like you either need smoke or you need marker states, right? Like that's how you, or you have to fight them, and you don't want to have to fight them because you're wasting orders doing
No, you want them to defend you. Like you want to put them in there and then capitalize on them and be in a marker state. Like that's the great thing is that you do it in such a way that you can't be touched. Right? Like and that they have to fight. They just have to waste orders and fight their way through.
And because QK doesn't have anything that can really do Panic Room and sort of last launch. Panic Room is the hard one that they kind of sit out for me. But Task Force was on the list because they can go double Magariba Guard and do perfectly fine. They have a bit of an issue with the characters and headquarters troops thing again, but they have Tarek. Yeah, and Tarek is a guy who can get in the room and just survive.
Yeah, that's my re-rate for my day 2 list is that I have a Harris that has 2 Asawiras in it, and their job is to go room. There's the Asawira Spitfire, and then there's the Asawira boarding shotgun Doctor. And then a Lasik with a viral marksman rifle. And that trio's job is just to go get in the room under cover of smoke and then be like, go for it. We're all headquarters troops. Like, fight us forever.
Yeah. Plan was Tarek, Lieutenant Tarek, go big, Lieutenant +1 order guy so that he can do it himself and then double Maggie. But I'm probably not playing that. It's feeling because I couldn't make a day 1 list because it's like, all right, we've got something I like here. And then it's like, well, what do you do day 1?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I stole your assassins from you. So now you don't have everything. You can't do everything. These guys just kind of do everything. But yeah, no, that was my like redraw. The one thing I noticed, it's funny looking at Dan's list, and I won't spoil what his list is like, but seeing him have 20 orders, I was like, oh my God, I've only got 15 in like any of these lists. But then I realized I think the reason he has 20 orders is that he's linked his one of his comma groups and it gets rid of their impetuous. So I think he has 20 orders, but it's not actually 20 orders because he's not using 5 of them most times.
Or are you talking about the I think they're regular all the time.
No, they're impetuous unless you link them. They are regular too. They're not irregular, but they're impetuous.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So 5 without order in the order
five
count's never getting
impetuous.
used,
Got
right?
it, got
The
it,
5
got it.
impetuous orders don't count towards it really, unless you start using them.
Yeah.
So, and I could also have my Asawiras, because we found the one unanswerable question this week, which I thought was cool. I get a my Asawiras frenzy and then go do that. We'll get to the unanswerable question though in a minute. Well, that's cool.
The other unanswerable one that came up when I was with you about what happens to the button in a remote pilot.
Oh yeah, that was so weird.
I brought that. I should post that one actually.
You should post that one actually. Yeah, to explain for the people listening.
So essentially, pilot remote presence is different than a regular pilot.
Yeah.
And the primary difference is that if you've left your tag and your remote presence pilot goes unconscious, you can spend an order on the now inert tag to do a reset. If no one contests it, if there's no other rolls, you automatically pass. Upon passing, whether someone opposed it or you automatically did, you remove the remote pilot from the board and your tag is now operational again.
Mm-hmm.
So
you can basically recall the little dead drown as long as it's still on the board.
And it does require it to be on the board. Doesn't matter its state. It can be isolated, immobilized, or null, which is to say unconscious. Doesn't matter. It can just jump back in. But the question is, one, can you launch another one? Like, can I then disembark again? And is it the same one in the same state, or is it back to normal? Two, if it has an item, whether it's a supply box or anything else, what happens to that? Does it get left where he went off the board? Or does it go to the tag?
Yeah, it doesn't say it's mounting and dismounting. So it doesn't say it remounts. So my interpretation, I think, was that you don't get anything back because it basically evaporates. Because there's also no range restriction for it. You can be 48 inches away and spend that order and just pass back in. So like, because it's on a mount dismount, doesn't follow that rule sequence, I think you don't get it. Whereas if it crawled back over on its own and got back in, I think the token would, right? Because you're using the mount dismount rules.
Yeah. The funny thing about the mount and dismount,
because you apply states, don't you?
You do, but the weird thing about mounting and dismounting is there's no actual line in there about removing the guy who's mounting and dismounting.
Yeah, it's like transmutation. He becomes the other guy. He ends in contact and becomes the other guy. I don't know. It's weird. It's a very weird state. Yeah, I think that it's like RFP'd. It's like removed from play is the wording, if I remember correctly when you read it. And
it's removed from the table. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that's right,
notably, it's not dead, which is a different instance, and it's not killed, which is another different instance. So like if you're playing supplies, for example, it's if a model is killed, I believe is the word.
That's the cancellation,
where it is. Yeah. But you weren't killed, so you don't leave it where it is.
No, the token just disappears. I think the whole thing disappears.
Yeah. And so like that's where I think it's funny of like what happens to it.
The weirder thing actually, and the even less clear is, can you relaunch it? Do you just get one back? Like what happens afterwards? Can you like shit at one of these little things? Like, who knows? It doesn't seem to like, you're removed from the game table. You're not remounted. So like, it doesn't seem clear at all whether or not you can have one of these little ancillary crab bots like crawl at you again.
As an exception to this rule, if the remote pilot is on the gaming table in an isolated, immobilized MA or B or null state, unconscious, whatever, their player may spend an order or ARO to declare reset with the vehicle or tag to regain control of it. If this reset is a normal roll with no mods applied, it will be an automatic success, and after declaring this, the remote pilot is removed from the gaming table. Cool. So you regain control of it. That's it. That's what you get.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's a very strange rule. Yeah. And it is kind of a weird corner case. Well, I think I'd be excited if you played a vanilla faction. I think that'd be cool as hell.
Yeah. Vanilla Hack Islam is on the list potentially, but they can't do like the one really good play that I have for Panic Room. They don't have an equivalent to what Pano can do.
Yeah. Right.
And so you'd have to play it very differently, and it becomes more like a brawl, and that's not what
And
I
you
want
roll
to do.
dice. No, you don't roll dice.
I don't like letting my opponent be like, I don't want to play. I just want to like just take my points and leave.
That's right.
Like,
Win.
how's it going? Cool. All right, I'm gonna leave now.
I'm gonna win now. Bye.
Yeah. I'm just here to score as many points as I can. Nobody has to die today. Like,
has to die. I'm just getting on this elevator first. Everybody else can spin later.
Yep. Yeah.
Now I'm excited for our 3-hour ride to from Calgary to Edmonton, where you have brought 7 armies in the back of your car. And you're still deciding the night before what we're bringing. You know, you should put in the back of the, you're gonna have a game table, so we can play. If we want to play Friday night, we can play.
They've actually in the past, for people,
there's gaming. It's advertised.
You can go and
it's
play.
Open gaming. Yeah, there's like open gaming. Yeah, to get practice games in, which would be good.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Well, my week was similar. After you left, I ran a ITS at the studio. It was the Tackaware Invitational for Winter War, and had 9 guys come down, and we practiced the day 1 missions again for Colder Than Carbonite. We had like a little mini Carbonite prep thing for all the guys who couldn't go to Carbonite. And I did fine. I was very happy with my results. I won my first game, my last game. I lost my second game to Chase with Deshat, and the game tape for that one is still in my head. I'm still trying to think what I could have done besides roll better in some cases, which is frustrating. There was a couple of plays probably I could have done a little, like, slightly differently or in a different order, or maybe just not spent so many, like abandoned when I ground too many orders into it. Because I have found so far, having played 8 games of the Carbonite missions, right? Because I played 5 against you, and then I played 3 on the weekend.
We only played 4. We didn't play the final.
Oh, we didn't play the final. That's right. I played the final against Tom, didn't I? That's right. I played it against Tom on Monday. I played launch against Tom. That's right. I got to play Panic Room against you. But the real trick with this army is I don't have a lot of orders. I gotta be real efficient with my order choices. And my irregular orders are kind of disposable, but my regular orders aren't as disposable as I'm used to them being. I need to have those orders to go and then efficiently do things. So I'm trying to like wrap my head around that. But I feel pretty good about it. I won you and I both won 2 games when we played, and I won 2 of my 3 on the weekend. Yep. So I feel like Hack's kind of under my belt now. I kind of know what they want to do. Although I won't have played a game with my list too, because I didn't have the models yet. I just got my Barid, thanks to Greg for that. Zeusicus, he had a Barid and a Boktar left over from a Black Wind that he hasn't used, and so he threw those my way, which was really nice of him. I just got those painted. Not the Boktar, but I got the Barid painted. And I finished off my what else did I paint? Painted the Barids. I painted my Camille. My Evo hacking guy came in from Hecatina Painting Services in Halifax. They had a box set, and I had 155 mil base left. Oh, and I painted Olaseek with the viral marksman rifle, +1 damage, which is pretty cool. A damage 14 linked viral marksman rifle is no joke. And he's got BS13 and MIM. So if I could only get him with the X visor, then that one mission he'd also be. Because what is it, Panic Room that's the strong? No, actually, no. I'd never be using him in that mission. So
supplies is the one.
Supplies is the one.
Yeah.
I could.
They're only BS12. You have to buff them. I assume you're in a big link.
He's a small fire team. I was gonna say I go to 13 if I get him in that mission.
Oh,
if he has the X visor, if I'd use the
them having
rifle version
plus
instead.
Is so good.
And mimetism, yeah.
Climbing plus is, in my opinion, more valuable than mimetism.
Yeah, because you can pick your angles.
Yeah,
absolutely. It just gives the Asawiras like this like angle piece, because they're kind of chonky and heavy. Like they can dash, but they can't just get over stuff, and they can have this guy who just can always follow them. You know what I mean? Like there's never a time where they can't stand in the fire team range, because he could just be like, just climb over that stuff. It's fine. And I can't decide if I wanted to, because it's the same, it's 1 less SWC, and it's the same price to take the X visor instead. If I do the viral rifle, X visor, forward observer, light shotgun, I could do that one instead. And it's not that different. And I also have somebody already covering the 24-inch range band, which is the AP Spitfire.
Funny, we got into a conversation in one of the games I played this week about needing weapons to cover every range band.
Yeah,
And
overlapping
I
fire.
argued
Yeah.
that you do not. And he's like, yeah, but if I get rid of the sniper, I'm only going to have one guy who's good outside 32. And I'm like, the longest range gun in my lists is 24.
Yeah, that's
Like-
right. I only have a 24-inch range gun, or I have an X5. Actually, sorry, that's what the in my list one, that's what that Weeb's for, right? He's the only guy who shoots outside that. And he's got an X visor and a heavy rocket. But I think other than that, yeah, everything else is 24 on my list. I don't even have an HMG. But
Like, I
like this
find-
faction doesn't need it.
The biggest gun in one of my lists is a Spitfire.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only one of those. Everything else is rifles or less.
I wanted the Seek because I wanted someone who could active turn hunt bears.
Sure.
Because like right now, if you've got a Sonic butt, you can't really active turn hunt them. You have to make them.
Yeah,
come to
but the
you.
bears kill themselves.
They do.
They
yeah.
always do. Like, you
Yeah,
know where the
you're
bear
right.
needs to go. And so you
Yeah.
just like hang
Just
out
watch it.
where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
you don't even need to like go where it's going to go. You go where, or sorry, you don't use yourself to defend where you guys are, but you defend where you're going to be.
Mhm.
And then the bear will eventually come to it and then you'll
Mhm.
kill it.
Mhm.
And yeah, Ariadna, the only Ariadna that I'm really concerned about is Cosmo, and only because they have everything.
Mhm.
And mostly just Unknown Ranger with a Varangian squad. I don't think anyone will play it because it doesn't seem to be the way people play this game. And like everyone I talk to about Cosmo gets completely obsessed over things like Mirage 5 and the Volcalax and like
Mhm.
Patchers.
Mhm.
But I'm like, I'm pretty sure a 5-man link of Dan McConnelly, 3 Varangian guards, and the Unknown Ranger is like a nightmare scenario
It's
for a
incredibly
lot
efficient.
of lists.
Yeah, it's incredibly efficient. It does a lot of work.
It's something like 70 points for
Yeah.
all of them. And yeah, it's 86 points and 1 SWIC.
Yeah, it's got 2 premier CC. Actually, they can all fight in CC, but like
All
2,
of them
like,
are great.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and then guns, and then templates shooting in every direction, and then
And
AP
it-
Spitfire and all that stuff.
And it fixes the Unknown Ranger's only few problems in that because he's in that big team, he gets the Sixth Sense.
Yep.
And because his team's so cheap, you can spend the whole first turn just yeeting them across the board, then breaking the link, and then just being like, all right, go.
Yep.
Kill
Ah,
my
Harris.
boys.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Well, and also you have smoke, right? You can get yourself there with smoke efficiently
Yeah.
because the Varangians are strong, and
Well,
they
Den was-
get to double dice it.
Usually even stronger.
But so I mean, you get 2 dice. You get the 2 dice bonus, like super throw for smokes. Like you're just never gonna miss.
Well, I mean, Denma can't miss if you roll 3 of
When
the
ra-
outcomes.
if Rangers in a big team, do you get big team bonus? Are they pure? No.
They're not up here.
Yeah,
He's
that's
actually the reason they're not up here.
Yeah,
You could bring up
he's
here
a wild
without
card.
him if you wanted.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say because he's got MSV1, so you can shoot through. You can actually smoke shoot with him, but then you're eating a -3, which you could offset for big team if you had.
But what you do,
thing.
you walk into the smoke against enemy MSV and you go, hey, you want to shoot me? And if they say yes, then you shoot them with full BS because you have Sixth Sense. And if they
Mhm.
say no, then you get to shoot them for free because they didn't shoot you.
That's very
Like,
funny, actually. Yeah,
It works out either way for
that
you.
is very funny. Yeah.
Like you just throw a smoke down and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
MSV guy, do you want to shoot me? Okay, I get full BS. Oh, you don't want to shoot me? Okay, well then I take a -3.
Yeah, because you have the Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
That's really funny. Yeah, but then smoke shooting with him actually becomes very. If they don't shoot, like the only way you'll eat the penalty is if they don't shoot back.
Or if they don't, the only way you'll eat the penalty is if they don't have a visor.
Yeah.
And that's pretty
And
much
then they're eating a -6 unless they dodge.
right. Yeah.
So it's worth it.
It's pretty funny. And for how dirt cheap it is that you can then go big on other stuff. Like
Mhm.
you can bring Volcalac teams maxed up and you can bring Mirage 5 as your follow-up and stuff like that. Like you can afford a bunch of SAS and Uxias because you've been so cheap on this primary link that is going to, and like you could even bring this and then bring another group that's going to take
So
over
play
as your
Cosmo.
core.
Why don't you play Cosmo, man? Go play Cosmo.
The primary reason I'm not playing Cosmo is I lack a lot of the models.
Okay.
I only have 1 Varangian guard. I don't have
Denma.
Wallace. I do have Denma, but I only have like 2 SAS. I don't have any Volcalax. I don't have any Patchers.
Gotcha.
I don't have any Cosmos. Like there's so many that I don't have on here that
Next season you make Tech great, or you make Cosmo great again.
Cosmo's already great. They're
I'm just
solid.
saying.
Yeah.
Now they have a Denma, which is now they have Denma. So now they're great.
I think Bakuna
Truly
got the
great.
most out of Denma out of anybody.
All right, let's jump in and talk about some questions from the mailbag then. We got plenty of questions, which is great. Go keep adding them. The link is in the description for the podcast. Just keep adding your questions in and we'll keep answering them. We do 3 every episode. The first one's from Ryan, and it's for everybody. It says, I have a killer hacker Druze model from years ago, which is labeled as a mercenary. From looking online, I narrowed it down to being a Hack-a-Slum model with the vanilla list now that the Capicality is not supported in the catalog. Should it just be a vanilla model unit or be considered for a Capu list that's no longer maintained? What? I mean,
I don't know what the question is here.
I think he's just asking what he should proxy it as. If it's a Druze killer hacker, it's
probably, I know which model that is.
Yeah, I do too. I just think you just use it as a Druze hacker. Like, hacker killer hacker is kind of interchangeable, and Druze are great. So, or
you go the other route and go, no one knows what anything is anyway. Paint it the same as the rest of your army, and it will just blend right in. Hey, it's a Farzan's, then it'll never be on the board. Like, that solves your problem.
Done. Okay, well, nailed that one. This one's from Blau J. It's for me. All fans are excited by Corvus Belli's cross-marketing and things like action figures and manga comics. With the upcoming release of pillowcases, duvet covers, and lampshades featuring your favorite Infinity characters, which character does Ash think Dan would say that Owen wanted on a pillowcase and a lampshade set? Which character do I think Dan would say that you want on a pillowcase and lampshade set? I mean, I think Dan would say that Owen wants Denma on the pillowcase, and that because he had to give him his Denma, and then on the lampshade,
he didn't give me his Denma. That
he didn't.
I went and bought another box. Yeah, and of course, after I got him, I never used him. I haven't used him in a single game.
In a single game,
playing a faction that has him.
That's really funny. I might steal a Zellenkrieger then because I want the big Zellenkrieger. Or the weird fight bot. And then on a lampshade, I think you would want crazy qualls on a lampshade. Sure. Some type of little robots, because you love little robots. Neilus
CS1 robots.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Neilus Rider asks, for everybody, link teams are such an integral part of the game, and many discussions rightly devolve into how does this deal with this enemy link? What would you do to make links easier to learn and counterplay? Hoping for ideas beyond removing links, mechanics like faction-specific links, where you swap like the 6th Sense skill for different upgrades, a skill like Natural Born Warrior, but with links, like ending jammers or something like that. One of the things I like the most about Infinity is that we don't have lots of faction rules. That your factions are just mixes of the universal rules. I think that means that, like, in my mind, that helps the game be digestible. Not having tons of like faction specific or like unit specific rules. Because then it kind of devolves into like the 40k data slate problem. Everything's an island, everything has its own unique bullshit rules. It just makes the game bloated and heavier and harder to learn, harder to digest. I don't think Infinity needs more crunch like that. I do think that fire teams could be... I think the order efficiency is like enough. I don't think the mechanical advantage of the hitting harder is required. I would just pull that completely. I would have full teams have the probably 6th Sense bonus, have the 4-man teams have the whip bonus for discovers, and then the burst bonus for 3-man teams. And that's it. I think that's all I'd have. 3, 4, 5. And then 2 is the order efficiency. Keep it simple. And then I think that conversation would become less prevalent. I just think I don't think it's nerfing fire teams. I think that the mechanical advantage doesn't really make any sense because they're not at all like if one point man is leaning up from behind a wall firing, he doesn't actually get better at shooting because there's 3 guys hiding behind that wall or 5 guys hiding behind that wall going like, yeah, you're great. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. So I think just nix the mechanical part altogether. And I think that solves a bunch of the issues. What do you think?
Yeah, mostly 6th Sense is my big issue in the current link team set.
Yeah, but I think if you put it all the way to 5, and that's the only time you get it, I think that's fine because then you have to go all in.
I'm actually not sure if it's more because of how much the wild card / like mixed teams has kind of like, because like it used to be with link teams that you brought like a bunch of a mono type of thing and it would either be cheap or expensive.
Yep.
And you'd get a mechanical bonus, and that was to offset the fact that you're not going to have a full like 15, or you'd only be at 10, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, 5 hospitalities are expensive.
Like that was the way it was. And now that you can just soup everything, they become really ubiquitous. And like I actually downplay the vanilla factions a lot because of Sixth Sense getting onto a 4-man team, and the fact that you can get 4-man teams for like sub 50 points in some factions. That's kind of ridiculous. Like
Agreed.
like the fact that Starmada can roll up with Sixth Sense hackers for like 50 points is pretty crazy in my opinion. And I know other factions are going to be able to do equivalents, but yeah, they could just bring 4 Kappas for 48 points and 2 Swick, and then they can just control the hacking game with that. And there's no counterplay. You don't have a solution. There's no like, oh, well, I have stealth, so you can't deal with that. And they're like, no, I can. It's fine. We're all prone in the back, and we're also order monkeys and things like that. I think, yeah, just changing Sixth Sense. The only thing I can think of is like tighten them up a little bit, make it so you can't be as like far apart from each other when you're moving around. Like maybe change when they leave links, sort of thing. Like right now, you're considered as part of the link until the end of the order. And then when you go to do another one, you check coherency. I think it should be every skill at the start of you're checking coherency.
So you can't like blow it and then like pull back in at the end of the order.
And also you can't like boomerang or like slingshot one guy out, shoot, and come back. I don't like that either. And like just really make people have to stay together and make it like, because like the counter to a link team is blast and template weapons.
Sure.
Because they have to be closer, like inherently, but just make them have to be a little bit closer to offset that even more. Because right now they're already going to kill basically anyone that comes after them with those kind of weapons because of the mechanical power. So you make it that, okay, you're going to kill me with that point man because you're BS 20 and you're amazing, but I'm going to hit those 2 guys as well. Is it worth it? Like you're going to dodge instead, and then you get the power on the active turn, and reactive it's a lot more risky. But right now, like you can have guys 16 inches apart and be part of the same team. That seems a bit much to me. And you're spreading that mechanical benefit out over nearly half of your deployment zone. So
I think the thing that really is strange is there's 2 ways of resolving the same thing in this game, but there feels like they could just be one. Like the fact that you can coordinate an order and also have the fire team rule. Like, why can't that just be one rule? Why can't fire teams just be like a reduced coherency coordination? And then it would make more sense. You know what I mean? Like to gain advantages, you have to actually position your models better and have them multi-shoot at things and only get a single reaction. You know what I mean? Like it just means that you don't have to spend the command token and they have to stay within coherency of each other. But then it's just a coordinated order. Like, why not just do that? Doesn't that just seem easier? Right? It's a range restricted coordination that's always happening. And just have it follow those rules. Like I think
know why. It'd be more powerful if you did that.
I think it would be, but I think it would require more skill to use because it's not just a mechanical advantage, right? You're reducing the burst of the lead model. You're forcing positioning so that more than one model can see.
Yeah, but the ARO system, I think that would just be worse than the current state. I think it would be. I think if you were to play a game where every time I shoot you, you're getting shot by 3 to 5 guys. You're going to lose every time. Like right now, link team leads are usually good fighters, but there's a few guys out there that can fight them. But like you'd auto kill everything in the game.
You'd auto kill though, because most guys are only getting one shot, and then your range matters. Like you have to set it up right. You have to get the models like to all have line of sight.
Right.
I don't think it's as mechanical. Like I get what you're saying because it's really powerful with certain models. Right? Yeah, you could try. I mean, but you'd have to rewrite the link teams, right? Like that's what I'm saying. Like you'd have to think about it.
I think that's a much bigger change. Like I think that is a much crazier like difference. Because like you could just bring like, hey, here's my 5 moderator pseudo coordinated team, and they just shoot 5 snipers at you every time. It's sweet.
Sure.
And then
Yeah.
they all use DA every shot, and you kill one every time because you're a better shot
I mean,
than
but
that
you
one
can,
guy,
but you
and
can
then the other
have you
four
can
just kill
have
you.
rules for your fire teams where like you can't have more than one weapon with an SWC cost. You know what I mean? Like you can just fix that when you create the rule.
Right.
Like if you're gonna go and make a new rule for fire teams, I think you just think of that stuff and be like, they can only one can have an SWC cost. You know what I mean? Only one can have XYZ, like whatever you want to call it. Only one can be a specialist. Only one can have an SWC cost. The rest have to be regular schmoes of whatever.
Here's my gang of Mark 12 Chaxa long arms. It's just the same
You
thing.
just don't let
Like,
them link though. Like I'm just saying, like
right.
you just there's like you just
I,
create like
I think that's a crazy
vastly
change.
reduce. I think it'd be more interesting. I think it would be more interesting game wise because you'd have to actually maneuver on the table. And you can
Here's
just
my
greatly
squad
reduce
of
the number of links.
multi-marksman MSV2 orphans.
Sure, you just don't let them link. Is what I'm saying. You let line troops link. You let guys who come in Tiamats link. You don't let the rest of them link. They go back to being like little Rambos. You get
I
all
think
these
that would be the big
models
thing.
out of the links.
Cut back on the links.
Yeah.
Stop making everyone in every like the fact that I can watch Dan deploy and one guy is not part of a link team is just silly. Like,
Yeah,
what is
100%.
this?
Yeah,
How has this happened?
just
And
bring
like
the 40K. Everything's in squads.
yeah, like I know Steel Phalanx and I know Toha exist, and they already kind of like went off the rails on that, and I would like to see them taken back to be the same as everyone else, like flatten the link teams in general.
Taking them back to the basics.
Yeah, make them just like everyone else. I do not understand it. Toha I understand even less, but that's a different thing.
That's a whole
So anyway, I guess to sum it up, link teams, change the benefits, make it less mechanically powerful, and flatten the amount of guys that can all link together.
Yeah, I agree.
And then you can go crazier than that, and like you said, with coordinate orders and stuff. But I think those two things would solve a lot of the pressure, because it's hard to say to not play a link like a sub faction because of how powerful links are.
Agreed. All right, we'll do one more because a couple of ours are really fast, and then we'll wrap this up for the week. Miso asks everybody, do you think there's something inelegant about Infinity containing both a roll under and a roll over system? Do you think they should either make armor a roll under or to hit rolls a roll over system for the sake of uniformity or mechanics? I don't think there's anything inelegant about it. I think it's just using the same RNG. I think it's fun.
Yes.
Use D20s for all kinds of things.
You should just change it. I agree.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So how do you make roll over for the like I don't
armor
get
saves. You just flip armor.
So who makes the armor save?
The same guy rolls the armor save. It's just equal to or less than. So like right now, let's say whatever.
Oh, so you make strengths on weapons like 2 and 3, and you make armors like 14 and 18.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, sure.
And then there you go.
It's the same
so
math.
like
It's the same math,
exactly.
right?
You make it exactly the same. The stats are exactly the same, but the only difference is every time you roll a dice, you're trying to roll equal to or less than.
Yeah, and the strength of weapons just reduces the armor. Yeah. You just have to reprint all the stats.
Yeah, you would just have to flip the stats around for damage and armor, and there you go. And then
it's actually really easy. You just drop 10 off every gun, and you add 10 to every armor, and it's the exact same math.
Perfect. What about the guns that are less than damage? I don't think there are any.
There are
I think
not.
11 is the lowest.
There aren't. Yeah, they should be damage 0. Yeah, I think 11 or 10 is the 12. I think is pistols, right? I can't think of anything that's 11. Yeah, I guess CC attacks it would matter, but then you're just using strength anyway.
Yeah, and the armor and strength, you just have plus 10 armor. I think it'd be fine. I think you could just flip it. Yeah. Agreed. So like I agree. I think it'd be worth doing that.
It would just make it consistent. I just don't think like I think if you can absorb a game like Infinity, it's like it might be inelegant, but I don't think it's a problem. Like I think it's still mechanically fine. And I think they didn't want to have to rewrite everything, all the stats.
Yeah, it makes it fine. I think actually, in all fairness, I think it's a carryover. I think it's a carryover from other games of like Warhammer is roll higher to live, and D&D is roll higher to live, and so like your armor passes because you rolled high and it's tough, and it's incoherent to feel like, oh, I have to roll under my armor. It's like, what is this? D&D advanced? I don't know what this means.
Yeah, I think at this point though, the game's been around so long, it would cause more problems than it would solve to change it now. Right? Like everyone would have to have their brains rewired basically to rememorize all the strengths of everything. I mean, as long as you remember it's just subtract and add 10, it's fine.
Yeah.
And there'd be no problem doing it the old way either, because it would be the same thing.
Right. I'm just thinking, like, I think the idea behind this question is like a new person coming in, right?
Sure. Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you go, everything in this game, you have to roll less than the stat. And then you just modify the stat by insert the modifiers. Oh, it does a damage of 4. And therefore, when you roll your armor, you have to subtract or you have to add 4 to your dice roll. There you go. It's the same thing.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. Well, thanks so much for putting questions in, and we will be taking another 3, maybe slightly plus next week. We got a few left over, but go jump into the link that's in the podcast description or the video if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, and throw some more in there so we can answer them next week. All right. So we're to the main topic then. Colder Than Carbonite 2024. Doing a little bit of research. Got 23 people signed up so far. It's got a 50-person cap. I'm flying into Calgary the Friday night. And the plan is that we record a podcast on the way up and the way back. So I'm going to bring my little lav mics that like record onto themselves, and we will just straight up record the trip there and the trip back. So it's going to be a mess.
You get to record an accident in real time.
Yeah, that's right. You get to record us getting snowed off the highway.
I'm going off the road. We're going to crash, right. But I'm going to be driving. So it's going to be like my kind of crash where it's like, shit. To be fair, I have been in 4 car accidents on that highway in my life. And they weren't really me being in an accident. It was that there was a blizzard and accidents kind of happened around me, but they involved like hundreds of cars going up through at the same time and like jackknifing tractor trailers. It's kind of like being in a Mission Impossible like action sequence for a second as cars are just flying around you when you're on that highway. Yeah, it's a nightmare. So hopefully we don't die. That is the plan. And the goal would be that you decide, basically the podcast that we're going to do on the way up is going to be Owen Picks an Army. And then the podcast on the way back is going to be, we all lament how our games went. So I will spill some tea on what my army's going to be, because honestly, if you guys have been watching my YouTube channel, you've seen it already. So it's not going to be a surprise to anybody. As I'm taking Assassin's Baram, I basically locked down my list 1 for day 1, which is, what's the first mission? The first mission is Mind Wipe with 2 saturation zones that are both Mountain Train, Arctic Combat. Yep.
I'll be honest, it's the easiest one for me to do. I'm the least worried about that one. And supplies on day 1. How do you feel about the 3 day 1 missions?
Yeah, Bebong is the only one. Like, it is.
It's because it's a coin flip. You have to have 2 plans for it.
Yeah. The other 2 are like normal games, and then Bepong is the other one.
The thing that will matter to me in the other 2 is the faction I'm facing. That's where my brain's
what
gonna
does the
have to
table
make
look
real-time
like?
decisions.
Who
Table
am I
and
playing
faction.
against? Yeah. What kind of shtick am I going to be up against here? Did they lean in on the like +1 BS, or did they lean in on, I don't know, the saturation zones are kind of whatever. That's a pretty staple thing, but +1 BS could be pretty obnoxious if they went hard on it.
Yeah, certain armies can for sure, right? Like Bag Marie, like an Acon, or you take what are they called? Govads in Assassins. I only took 1. So yeah, I think that the big question mark for me is going to be Bepong, and it's going to come down to, did I win the roll to pick first or second?
Yep.
Like that really, it's just not the chance, right? Like I don't actually care about the faction that much. Like that's going to inform some of my deployment decisions, but more than anything else, it's going to be, here's my tools. Like I almost have like I have a game plan in mind already, right? With Sunday mixed in with Delamies, so you can't tell which is which. I've started doing like a fake out deploy with Sonic Butt, where like whatever the juicy place to put Sonic Butt is, I actually put Delamy instead, where everyone thinks that's going to be Sonic Butt. And then he's usually like on the ground.
As someone who brought 2 Sonic Butts and 5 Delamy to last year's Carbonite, yeah, they mess that up all the time.
they sure do. And then Sonic Butts in somewhere kind of safe. Yeah, just soup them with those. I've only got 4 markers though, right? I didn't go as hard as you did with all the Sonic Butts and all 9. The Delamies. Yeah, you had 9 camo markers. They'll don't know what the fuck to do with that, which is very funny.
But I also, when they walk out and you're like, oh, Sheeskin, both Sonic Butts shoot.
Yeah. I have things you didn't have though, like 2 Asawiras.
Yes.
who
Yep.
are delightful. I'll be honest, they were the thing I was the least sure about when I started painting the list, and they are the thing I
they're
am the
great.
most sure about now.
Yeah.
I had 100% regen rate when I played you.
Yeah. Every single time in every
Every
game.
fucking time, yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think the only time one of them died is when you actually like were so sick of me getting my regens, you just finished them off instead. You were like, nope, I'm just gonna shoot you on the ground. I have to.
Yep. We step on next, we shoot him down. Yeah. And even then, like I lost a game, I'm fairly confident because you survived even when down on the ground.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I made a regen and I went and picked up a supply box.
No, you stood up and killed a Yoda. Like,
Oh, that was that's right.
like,
No,
that was what
that
killed
one.
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, no, I got up and killed a Yoda with my bare hands.
After getting shot like
That's
4
true.
times.
That's
And
true.
it's
I
like,
did,
yeah,
yes.
it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
And then he count up like Jason 4 he's and was just like, I'm not dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, SORs are awesome. I have no qualms about that. It isn't the way I like to play because I have to fight people, and I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah. Well,
so I
in
don't
certain
usually-
missions, like I think in last launch, I need them. I need those headquarters units, right? That can like reliably take the room, and if they accidentally go
in
down,
panic
might
room.
just like
Yeah.
jump back up. Yeah, those are panic room. Yeah,
Yep.
not last launch. And then what was I gonna say? They also are like my solve for when I fight other viral stuff. Because I had to fight Sforza on the weekend, and guess who doesn't give a shit about Sforza? Armor 9 in cover.
Yep.
Okay. Two pluses. I'll make all these rolls all day.
Armor
Let's do
12
this.
in
Armor
cover.
12. That's what I mean. Armor 12 against your viral. That's cute. He's like, oh god, I guess I shoot my pistol, and I'm like, I'm only armor 7 then.
It's also against things like flash pulses and nanopulsers.
Oh yeah,
Like,
it can't be stunned.
You just walk through it.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, I could fail on a 1, which, in all fairness, that happened to my Murray at a tournament or so ago.
Sure.
Where he got shot on a hit on a 1, misses all of his shots, and then gets blinded on another 1.
I can see you seething.
Yeah. I put down smoke and then shot a Pupanautica guy, and the Pupanautica guy decided to shoot back with the negative
with like a bajillion
12.
negative mods. Yeah,
He was like -9, and he hits on like a 1, and the Marut just misses.
Yeah,
and then gets blinded.
Yeah, it's funny. It's why I think that when that thing's happen, it's why you always call your shot. Like you do it so often, and 90% of the time it never works. But then when we played 2 weeks ago,
time to crit.
You just called all you're like, I'll roll 13. I mean, you rolled a 13, and you did it twice to me in the same day, and it was infuriating.
Yeah. Especially when they're like long odds too, where it's like, ooh, he's got 5 dice on 15s, and I'm 1 on a 9. 9.
It's the best. It was 1 dice. That was the best way to 5% chance of getting it. But that is the reason why you always call your shot, because you look like you're a wizard when you actually make it happen, and your opponent goes completely on tilt.
Yeah, I'm here to demoralize you.
That's right. It's the ultimate demoralizer.
Look, I didn't want to fight. You chose to shoot me. My guys were running away because that's how we play this.
Yeah, you say things like, that's okay, I'll just roll a 9, and then casually roll a 9, and your opponent can't think anymore afterwards. So that's day 1. I'm pretty confident about my list, to be honest. I switched up. I did decide I was going to switch the Asawira Doctor with the comp, because remember I tried to get through Yoda with Asawiras, and I only had was a shot close combo weapon, and it took forever.
Right.
So the Doctor has a DA and a boarding shotgun. If you switch from the boarding shotgun, he's got a better melee weapon, still a Doctor, and actually I think fulfills his role better by having a boarding shotgun. So that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to switch up the AP rifle to being a boarding shotgun and run him that way, because he's usually close enough that he wants to use that anyway, and then he's got the DA on top of it. So it's my compromise. That's my one like swap in my day 1 list. Although I am considering dropping that Muya with the heavy rocket launcher now for Lasik to have some active turn viral, but I don't know, man. It has an X visor too, so it does the same job of always shooting at zeros up to that range. It's just, I lose an order because it doesn't have attack aware, but I gain the ability to buy orders in that combat group. I'm not sure if it's worth it. They're the same point, like the exact same points in SWC.
I mean, attack aware is better than buying an order.
And I lose out on having a template, and a template is a big worry for people. Like having an active 3-shot flame template is direct
Yeah.
template weapon is or not direct impact template is like a big deal.
Yeah.
So I'm really undecided about it. He shows up on day 2. I probably won't change it. I'll probably just do the doctor swap because I played so many games with that list now too. I'm pretty comfortable with it, like
Right.
where I want to deploy and stuff. So I think that's maybe more important than like last minute switching my list. But if I decide I want to, I'll have the models because he's in the day 2 list for sure. And
That's
then
fair.
day two is the one where it gets crazy.
This is where it gets jank. Like, and it's entirely due to the change, the combat things they've added.
The cards.
Like, the cards have completely changed the way day 2 will play out. And that's just how it is.
Yeah. So Panic Room, the big thing is the 4 turrets, and it's been ruled that the turrets can go in the room.
Yeah.
And that, seeing your gimmick of what you did, and that game goes up, it doesn't go up until after no, that goes up the weekend of Carbonite, so we don't have to talk about it too much, but it will technically go up the day before Carbonite, so people will see that gimmick.
For both of the people who watch this show, they're gonna find it.
That's right.
Yeah.
But it does make a lot of sense that you load the room with the turrets, because then you can sneak into the room in a marker state or with smoke. I think the marker state's better because then you never actually, the smoke, it doesn't matter, does it? Because you can react actually when you're not in marker state. And
no,
react.
it's worse. It's worse. Just be a marker.
Yeah. It's worse because you could get hacked and stuff.
Specfire
for sure.
Hacking. See you through the door. Smoke you.
Ironically, they can specfire the turrets if you're standing next to them, so you have to not stand next to the turrets.
I made that mistake when we played, but like, lesson learned, right? Like, that won't happen again.
Yeah.
So we're good there.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out if you put the turrets, because you did think we put them in the doors. I actually think it's better to put them in
inner corner.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah. I watched. I remember
where you were standing.
Yeah.
Inner corners feels like the right spot, and then force them to come in and fight the turrets. And you can't address the turrets or you can't address the models inside without also addressing the turrets.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to do it. I don't know. It's going to be such a weird mission. But playing into that feels like, and this is the weird thing, because your day 2 list needs to be able to do that, but then also needs to be able to launch a EvoBot if you have access to one. And if you don't have access to one, it needs to be able to launch something else.
Everybody's got an Evo.
Everybody's got an EvoBot. That's true. Well, not everyone's got a baggage Evo, though. Remember, the Combine don't have a baggage Evo, so there's none in that entire faction, and neither does Ariadne. They've got an Evo War Driver. So you have no way to there's 2 factions that just flat out can't do it.
Yeah, they still can. I think it's still worth doing even for them, on the grounds that you do get 2 points for specialists. Right. And like, both of them, while it's true that they don't get the normal Evo, they are still dirt cheap and have the ability to do, like, they can still do it. I don't think they're going to do it like the other factions will. Like, it won't surprise me if everyone has 1 to 2 Evo bots just because.
Yeah.
In that, and because you get an extra order too on Panic Room, like, it's worth it for both of those scenarios. So, like, very clearly you're going to have those Evo bots. So I don't imagine that those 2 factions will skip out. They probably only have 1, and it'll be like a shotgun. Like, I let that fly and maybe it works out, rather than everyone else who's going to be like, this is my winning strat right now.
Yeah.
If this guy makes it, I then win the game. Whereas for them, it's like, if this guy makes it, then I have to fight.
Well, my big thing is that I dropped down to 1 Fide on my list too. And that's making me nervous, because I know if I have to hunt down 2 Evo bots, I'm not as sure that I can do it. I know I can kill 1. Yeah. Right. I know my Fide can go kill 1, but having to do 2 is a push, and I'm worried I'm gonna run into 2 of them all of a sudden. I don't think I'm going to, though, because I think Panic Room is gonna make people not take 2. And then it comes down to, what groups do I put them into? Oh no, I do have 2 Fides. Never mind. I lied.
I think Panic Room you can bring 2. It's fine. Like, you can, you're still gonna only get 1 extra order. Like, you won't get 2, but whatever. If your list can't afford a 15-point bot, then, like, rethink what you're doing. It's too valuable to give up.
Change your life entirely.
Yeah, like, you can just win if you do that.
I looked at the wrong list. Well, that's it. If I can kill That's why, because I have too many. I don't use your coding system of numbering everything. And so I was looking at the wrong day 2 thing. Is this the right one? This is the right one. Yeah, I've only got one. And I think I put it comes down to what groups do I put people in all of a sudden to make sure I have the orders in both groups to do the job, right? Like I have to be able to get the job done. And if I think if I split it up so that McMurrow's in one group and the Fide's in the other group, if there does end up being 2, I can probably get the other one with McMurrow.
Yeah,
because they generate their own orders. So that's probably my best bet, is to put the Fide in the group 2 and have him go Fide the days, watch everything with Sunday. And I think it comes down to how do I distribute my models between those 2 groups. That's going to be whether or not I get the Evo off or not. Because then once the Evo's gone and I've killed the other enemy Evos, it's just everything can die. It doesn't matter anymore. All my guys can die. Just slow them down. Just grind it out. Make it so they can't get wristbands. And then wait until the game's over. Everyone can be dead.
Yeah. Yep.
It no longer matters.
That's all it's going to come down to. Like I keep going back and forth because like, one, I really wish you could buy Ulans. Makes me mad that I can't, and I don't like proxying, so I'm like inherently opposed to that.
You want to get your ticks?
Yeah.
I mean, your ticks could just be Ulans.
I only have one tick, and then I have this.
You want double Ulan?
Too.
Yeah.
Well, it's you played the list 2 that I played against you. Specifically Panic Room. Imagine that exact same list, but instead of the Cutter's Yodam, it's 2 Ulans. And I'm actually confident it's better-ish, but it's an ish thing. Because like
Can you do 2 Ulans in vanilla though, is the question.
You cannot.
Yeah.
So you switch to Varuna. Or not Varuna, sorry, Neoterra.
Then your faction switching all of a sudden.
Yeah, so it means your day 1 list has to change. But Neoterra gets everything that the other one has as well. The only thing they don't get is the Crocmen, but they get more locusts, so it kind of like works itself out. And they also have hexas, who are fine. They do the job.
I mean, why not just do Ulan Yodam or Ulan Cutter? Ulan Cutter is kind of legit.
Yeah.
Right? Because then you have the best of both worlds. They can both marker state, and you can still do your super fun crabbot tricks.
Yep. The only issue is I don't own an Ulan. I only have Tick-Valang and the other ones.
Well, you have every other one. That's it.
I have all the other ones. I don't have him. So that's kind of off the table. But that's where I'm like going back and forth on is do I want a link team is essentially it. Because like I can run the exact same kind of list, but all of a sudden I get a Fusilier missile launcher link, which I don't have currently. And now it's like, there's
the version you played against me was like when you're taking
just
tags,
chaff.
It was just chaff. It was all like flash bots, Fanuses, and Fugazis rather, and Mealbots.
Yep.
I don't know, man. It's a big play. Like it's a big play. I love your day 1 list because I think it's just a cool mix of like, hey, look, we solve all our problems with bullets.
Yeah.
And has lots of redundancy.
It's like sort of solve all of our problems with bullets. Mostly it's half of us are here just to eat shots.
Just to die. Yeah, just to die.
And then the other half are going to do the job and then eat shots.
Yeah, because it's worth knowing that Vanilla Panel can take lots of authorized bounty hunters and lots of diggers.
Yep.
And the digger model's out now too, which is great.
Yep. Won't do me any good because I won't have it, but one day. I got my 2 little counts as diggers. They do their job.
They do.
Yeah.
But now that it's out, everyone's gonna use diggers. You guys made diggers. You guys made teams.
I don't think they will. Popular. I talk about it and like I play against other people who play vanilla and they don't bring them. I'm like, I don't understand. I don't understand how you could like this is probably the best points for value model in the game. Like
especially when he sometimes just like finds a machine gun. That's my favorite. It's like is that every now and again
the one that gets it is when he gets Mim 6.
Yeah,
Mim 6 throws him off the rails because all of a sudden the normal way of killing him is you just shoot him. But now if he dodges, he's Fizz 13 and you're -6 to shoot him.
Yeah.
And
he just gets wherever he wants.
It's like, oh yeah, I just have cover now. just all the time.
Sure
I didn't
does.
have cover before, but now I do. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And like he's got 2
It's,
wounds because of his
it's the
ravage state.
14 points too, and a +1 burst CC weapon and a +1 burst chain rifle. And
Yep.
he throws grenades at Viz 13. So why
Yep.
not?
Which throws them. That means he spec fires them on 10s. Like
sure does.
I never really do it because I find I'm always fighting for my life for orders. But like the option's always there for him to just yeet
Just
grenades.
hum one over a side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just throw them over a wall. I mean, that's gonna be real relevant in all the room missions. The fact that you can just run up to the room and chuck stuff inside.
Yeah. It makes me mad because like I used to like the Krakot. Like he was my boy. And we played lots of games where I bought a Krakot.
I know.
And the Digger just took the Krakot out back and killed him. Like,
well, because you can't take the Krakot anymore in vanilla.
You sure can. You definitely can. And there's still 2 of them.
The basic Space Pirate? Really?
Yep. And the only problem is
he doesn't have 2 wounds, right? Like
he's the same cost, but he's half the man. Like
well, he gets other things like forward deployment and metachemistry instead of booty. And metachemistry reroll, which is kind of neat too. So he can also sometimes go off the rails, but not being 2 wounds is a huge difference.
Also, Natural Born Warrior is really good, and +1 to melee is also really good.
Sure is.
Because a lot of factions, at least the way I play them, tend to not run melee powerhouses. And this is the stupid little Digger is a melee powerhouse. It's like, oh, I have to fight an Asawira, who's one of the best CC guys in the game. Better send 14-point Digger to hold him down.
I don't know why I take both. Take 2 Krakots and 2 Diggers.
Right?
Just do both. Go all the way. Play Pano, but don't have a single Pano model.
We just brought the Lieutenant.
Do it. That would make me so
I'm playing Pano. Oh yeah, because Hawkwood can't be your lieutenant.
Nothing but mercenaries. Can you don't have access to them?
No, they don't. They're the only lieutenant or Pano lieutenant.
Or Pano, okay, yeah. You can't take like a John Hawkwood or something like that.
No, I think one of the factions can do it where they're legitimately just all mercenaries.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like it's like no, like one of the big ones, like Hawk Islam or something like that.
Oh, maybe.
There's somebody out there.
Probably. Let me look at skills.
No, it's not Hawk Islam.
It's not Hawk. Okay. Maybe
Ariadna.
Maybe Combine.
Nope, not Ariadna. Maybe not.
I didn't think so. I know NA2 can, but
NA2 could, but they're basically just sectorials. So like,
yeah, exactly. Well, and that's where they come
maybe
from.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was just an NA2.
You can take, I don't know, does Sun Sea count as not whatchamacallit, as not Yuching?
Yeah.
Because if that's the case, then you could, but he seems distinctly Yuching.
Yeah.
Well, I think day 2 is going to be the one that we sweat the most. I'm pretty sure day 1, win or lose, I'm at least comfortable with the game. Day 2 is one where I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. Last launch is going to be a race to it's, you know what it is? It's Panicroom I'm not worried about. It's like, it's weird and it's got the turrets and stuff like that, but like, I'm not so worried about the coin flip at the beginning. With both B-Pong and last launch, I'm worried about the coin flip. And that's out of my control, right? So that's why those are the 2 that make me squirrely.
So it's funny because like I'm actually okay with day 2. I have a list, I have a plan, and it doesn't have any real direct counters. There's not a thing that you can do that it's like, and now I'm screwed. Like my opponent needs to do so much work to try and do something to actually stop me in that regard because of the giant zones of exclusion / like limited deployments. It's day 1 that I'm more concerned about, primarily because of B-Pong. Because like I'm just not as familiar with Pano. Like vanilla Pano, you never see it. Like everyone just plays.
But I think that's gonna be the other thing that no one's gonna expect you to bring vanilla Pano, right? Like to solve all things with bullets for the most part. I know that's not what you're actually doing, but that's what they're gonna expect.
Because that's such the Pano thing. Like it's one of my favorite things whenever I talk about Pano or whenever I talk about like list building and there is someone who plays Pano Sienia, immediately the conversation becomes Kamau team with missile launcher, Bolt team with sniper. Don't forget your Fusilier's missile launcher, BS15. Fusilier missile launcher.
I mean,
BS15,
none of that
like,
applies to Vanilla Pano, right? Like,
I know
like,
none of it does because all of them just jump to the different sectorials. It's like Bog Marine team's really solid.
Yeah, that's like, but what about if you didn't take any of that?
Oh, well, then you have to bring an Aquila guard. It's like, well, why?
Why? What if you just?
What does MS3 actually do for me? Other than let the Sixth Sense stupid unknown ranger beat me up.
It's true, yeah. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Well, I'm excited to record the podcast. I'm excited to fly it and play 5 games. I hope we get to do this every year. This is gonna be exciting. I'll be honest, this is the most fun I've had playing, getting ready for this. First doing the ITS like Escalation League, and then getting ready for this and playing like 20-ish games with the army I was gonna take, and like actually trying to do a tournament again has been the most fun.
You have to rise to the occasion. You can't just be garbage.
You have to actually try. Yeah, we can't just do what we usually do, which is just like throw stuff together and see what sticks. We have to actually think about it. We have to actually like back up what we say we know on the internet. Right. So we'll see how that goes. We might get shamed.
The temptation to just fall back into Assassins and be like, haha, everything's easy again. Like, oh no,
you have to prove your big brain. You got to do it. You got to prove your big brain, Owen. Got to prove that you can make things work no matter what.
I'm gonna play Assassins and Panic Room, and every guy's gonna roll the infiltration roll. Just always, everything. Just throw them all into his deployment. Fuck it. If any of them land it, I win. What's the fizz on a Delamy? Like 8? I think they're 10. So you need 4s. No, go, buddy.
Oh, in his deployment zone, yes, it would be -6. Yeah, you got 4s.
Yeah, on their half, you just
all 5
roll them out there.
I mean, you have 20% chance 5 times. You should land it once.
And then the Sunduckbutts.
Because why not?
They just go up as far as they can. Just take the 8 inches and roll it. You need an 11. Landed it.
They just infiltrate next to whatever he's got. Choose to deploy second. Infiltrate everything on top of his army.
Oh, there's 4 turrets, and then there's 2 more turrets. Yeah.
The only thing in your deployment zone is a Camille.
there's a Camille and a couple of Ghulams just kind of holding hands, waiting, hoping it all kind of ends.
3 Ghulams just holding hands with a Barid, being like, I need you to throw these pictures. I need you to throw these pictures. I need you to throw these pictures.
Go throw this in the room over there.
That's right. Go throw this in the room over there, and then we can reload once off the Camille before it leaves.
Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna leave, so we got to make sure that he gets out of here.
Do that reload.
Fidays are back. Oh, McMurrow's back. They failed their infiltration. Welcome aboard, guys.
Tremendous. Well, I'm sorry Dan didn't make it in. He's MIA today, guys, but he will be at the next one, I hope. And we can hear about him planning out his Carbonite list for Carbonite Plus Play Guest Part 3. And yeah, get us some more questions in the mailbag. Wish us luck at the big tournament. And we'll talk to you guys next week.
Boom.